The mistake that made the Berlin Wall fall. Just history. The Berlin Wall was a physical and emotional symbol of the Cold War. It divided the city and stood as a stark reminder of tensions between the East and West. On November 9, 1989, a mistake led to the wall's fall. Hey there, folks. You already know what we'll discuss today. Divisions of Germany before the Berlin Wall. After the fall of the Nazis, Germany was mainly controlled by four superpowers, who were considered Allied forces, and the reason why the era of Nazis came to an end. The UK, the US, France, and the USSR were the ones controlling the helm of Germany. It was, however, quite tricky. As they didn't want to get into a turf war, they divided Germany into four equal parts, with each country controlling a fragmented piece of Germany. This soon ended, except for one, the USSR. They were in no mood to go and start another government in Germany that could be more brutal than the last one. So after that, there was a division in Germany, which led to the formation of East and West Germany. In 1949, the Soviet Union set up the German Democratic Republic, GDR, in the eastern part of the country, while the western part became the Federal Republic of Germany, or FRG. The erection of the Berlin Wall then cemented this division in 1961. Which prevented East Germans from fleeing to the West. The Berlin Wall had a much deeper and more amusing history altogether. So Berlin was still the capital of East and West Germany, which made it tricky since the two parts shared a wall. It was later announced that people could go back and forth for work from Berlin to West Germany without much restriction. You'd be very surprised to know that this only lasted for a short time, as more and more people fled from the East to the West. The GDR was losing significant power, and they had to make a move, so they abolished any movement from East to West, and vice versa. It was done so that people staying in East Germany could have safe passage on their journey to West Germany. About 30% of the residents in East Germany traveled as refugees into West Germany in just a week. For almost 28 years, these two halves of Germany existed as separate, opposing worlds. While the FRG enjoyed democracy and freedom, the GDR was a communist dictatorship where people were routinely oppressed and arrested. The atrocities of East Germany during Soviet rule. The atrocities committed by the Soviet government in East Germany were numerous and egregious. The secret police, the Stasi, were given free rein to terrorize the population. Anyone who dared speak out against the government was imprisoned, tortured, or killed. Life in East and West Berlin was very different. In the East, there was government control and limited freedom. In the West, there was freedom and democracy. The residents of East Germany went through a lot. They were already suffering in the Nazi monarchy, and they couldn't breathe freedom even when it ended. That says a lot about communism and brutal governments. People being shot and killed just because they want to leave a country is barbaric, and it somehow reflects on our present society. Also, a lot of Russian soldiers used to harass German women regularly. They would make those women take off their tops and roam naked as long as they pleased. If that weren't enough, soldiers would sometimes kidnap these women and keep them by their side for weeks. Sometimes they were sent back in one piece. However, most of these women were not fortunate enough, and no one knew what happened to them. Many who went out on peaceful protests in East Germany were captured and later shot to death. The families still mourn the ones who lost their lives only because they wanted a better future and some mere opportunities to make a living. Germany has faced many hardships, and this ranks among the top few. A story within. It's said that on November 9th, Germans from both sides of the wall cried, laughed, and drank the most beers they ever did. It was when they were free and could smell the air around them changing into a much respected scent of freedom. Germans were united for the first time in a long time after facing countless hardships. It was a moment to cherish, mourn, and think about what's coming next. It's quite amazing how the freedom they fought so much for was actually awarded to them because of a mistake. And this is going down in history as a wonderful lesson. The world has seen so many wonders, and the journey of Germany is one of them. Here's another surprise. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. Go on, hurry up so we can get back to the topic. Feel free to share these videos with your friends and family as well. The unintentional move that ended East Germany's rule. In November 1989, Günter Schabowski, a spokesperson for East Germany's ruling party, held a press conference in which he was supposed to announce a few government updates and new regulations. However, due to a misunderstanding by Schabowski, this announcement was far from what had been planned. Instead of giving specific details about the upcoming rules, he mistakenly said that citizens of East Germany would be able to leave immediately and that the new regulations were valid immediately without delay. The repercussions of this mistake were far-reaching, even though Schabowski had not intended for citizens to be able to leave immediately. People started gathering at the Berlin Wall's checkpoints to take advantage of the unexpected loophole. The situation quickly became chaotic as East German troops needed to be informed about what should be done and could not stop people from crossing. This incident eventually led to the end of East Germany's rule and reunified Germany into one single nation. This momentous occasion was celebrated by both East and West Berliners who grew up living in separate nations. After years of being separated by physical and political barriers, they have united again as one Germany. The fall of the Berlin Wall marked an important milestone in history that would shape Germany's past and future. It served as an example that even though walls can divide us physically, there's always hope for greater unity and understanding among all people. International reaction to the wall's downfall. The historical event of the Berlin Wall's fall significantly affected the international stage. On November 9, 1989, joy and celebration erupted as East German citizens poured through the gates and crossed into West Germany. World leaders also praised the reunification of Germany as a victory of democracy over repressive communism. The United Nations General Assembly called the event a triumph for human dignity, the peaceful solution to a crisis that threatened to divide Europe once more. U.S. President George Bush Sr. declared it a momentous occasion for all mankind. German Chancellor Helmut Kohl hailed it as a victory of freedom and justice. The fall of the Berlin Wall marked a new era in international relations. It ended decades of political tension between East and West Germany, ushering in an age of hope and freedom for all those who lived behind its walls. The dissolution of East Germany is seen by many as a watershed moment in modern history, with the end of the Cold War being deeply influenced by the events that unfolded in late 1989. It's remarkable to think about how Günter Schabowski's mistake that night set in motion a chain reaction which ultimately resulted in new freedoms for millions of people living behind the Iron Curtain. And that's it for today's video. If you liked what you saw, we suggest you subscribe to our channel immediately and hit that bell icon to never miss an update from us. You can let us know what you think about the Berlin Wall and the atrocities committed because of it in the comments. We're always happy to chat with you guys.